I had no money, I had no clothes, I had no shelter from the bitter cold. When you're too weak to walk, he'll carry you through. I'm living proof.
Well, I am here with blues legend and author of When I Left Home, Buddy Guy. Buddy, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your busy day to talk with us.
Well, thank you very much for spending the time with me. Like I said to everybody else, a blues player need all the exposure you can get because we don't get that much no more, especially when you get old and get rankers.
Ah, you're still beautiful. I should mention that we are doing this in the morning at your request. And my first question is, what kind of blues man works in the morning?
You know, I was a farmer before I became a blues man.
Exactly.
Actually, you're a blues man when you were born on a farm because you live to eat and eat to live, and that was that. I was just telling some people now, the situation the world is in right now, I'm so used to that it doesn't bother me as much as I do my children and my grandchildren, because they don't know how to survive if you boil a white potato and that's all you had tonight to go to bed, and you go to bed. And my mom was so proud when I got big enough to catch a fish, so I wouldn't have to eat the white potato in the evening. So this ain't nothing new to me here, man. You know, this is, when you're born on a sharecropper's farm, you eat to live and live to eat. And I didn't know what running water was until I was about 17 years old.
Yeah, well, musical legacy aside, your story is an incredible slice of Americana. Grew up picking cotton, didn't have electricity until you were 12 years old?
A little older than that.
Really?
Yeah, we had like the lantern light, what you call a lamp with the kerosene in it. And we had to get our little homework by the lamplight at night because, you know, it's almost like you didn't know in the first place.
Right.
See, other words, that's all we knew. So it wasn't nothing to say, well, I need some electricity.
Right.
I need somewhere to put a fan. My first fan was just in church. If you know, you know, and I got one at my house now. You know, oh yeah, yeah.
Reading the book, there's not a lot of, oh, poor me, what a terrible childhood. You really put the positives on growing up that way and the family love and the tightness. It really seems like you have very fond memories of your childhood.
Well, yes, you don't forget things like that because you can wake up in the morning and say, I remember when I had to eat a white potato, and that's all because my mom said, if you don't like that, take a glass of water and go to bed. And that water was room temperature. We didn't have no refrigeration or nothing to keep it like that. Matter of fact, a lot of times, if it's a drought like we got now, we had to go to that creek and pray that creek don't go dry because that's all the water we had.
Oh my God. Well, now you came to Chicago in 1957, and things did not immediately take off for you. You want to talk about that a little?
Well, you know, I was used to that too because it didn't take off before I left Louisiana.
Right.
No,
Right.
I didn't know anybody, and I was working at LSU, which my whole family is the one still living there is retired from LSU. And they told me, you know, I was in love with the music and Muddy Waters and all those great blues players was here. And someone came from here to a funeral and said, man, you know, you could go to Chicago and get a job at a university or a college there and make twice the money you making here. And you could go watch Muddy and them play at night. Well, that was my dream. Not saying one day I'm going to be sitting here with you saying, you can play, Buddy, and you done wrote a book.
Right.
I couldn't even hardly read a book because I didn't get my first year in high school because my mother taken a stroke and I was the oldest boy and I had to be the man.
Okay.
So that was the end of my schooling right there. Now the rest of my schooling is street sense.
Yeah.
I don't have no book sense. I got street sense.
Let's talk a little about the legendary Chess Studios. I mean, for those of us who weren't there, we just tend to romanticize it and think of it as a magical place because all that wonderful music came out of there. But I'm guessing in reality, working there, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
You mean the money-wise?
Well,
No. Yeah, well,
and Leonard chess-wise.
Sunshine and rainbows is a few dollars that they didn't take. A lot of artists who helped made them, you know, Eddie Boyd and Willie Mayborn, I could name them all, and they came back and told me what was happening. I didn't know. This is my education, and but Chess wasn't the only one ripping off. All the record companies ripping off, and I do believe today Elvis would have lived another day if he hadn't found out the Colonel was making more money than he was. You know, so that was the name of the game back then, man. You go make a record for a record company, and they'll tell you, I made you.
Right.
Even the disc jockeys back then used to come to me and say, look, boy, I played your record, I made you, I want you to play this show free.
Really?
And I said, well, I can't eat that because I know I'm used to eating the white potato, but now I want a little piece of meat with it.
Yeah. Well, and you've played, I mean, we're talking Muddy and all the names. You've played with everyone, Eric Clapton, B.B. King. Anyone on that list that you haven't played with that you would still like to? Barry Manilow, anybody?
Yeah, I would like to play with Barry, and I never played with Jimmy Page yet.
Oh, really?
I know, but all the rest of the British guys I have played with, we all love them because they open the doors to make the money we make now. If it wasn't for the Stones, the Beatles, and the Claptons, and all those guys, I don't know if America would have been paying us the way we get paid now, because the audience was 99.9 black when I came here 55 years ago, and every time we saw a white face come in, I said, man, hide the bottle of wine because that's a cop. And that was Paul Butterfield, Eric Clapton, and all those guys started coming in one by one, and I would look over and I say, I know when a white person come here to listen to me sing Jimmy Reed or B.B. King, and now we laugh about it because he said, that was me, man. I was sitting there trying to pick up on you and the Wolf and Mud and them because we was studying the blues.
Magic. Now, we should mention we're at your club, Legends, here. I've met a lot of musicians who are incredibly talented and horrible business people. You seem to be straddling both areas fairly well. Is that going back again to your work ethic that you were brought up with?
You know, even before I got in this business, I was playing in the clubs, and we had 1 million of them here. And everybody who had one, when you're dealing with cash money and whiskey, somebody gonna get you. I had a good friend just passed away about 3 years ago. He say, watch this, come on and go out to my club. And he walks in this club on 63rd Street. He say, all right, I know you're going to steal, but leave me some so you have something to steal tomorrow. That's
good business sense.
Yeah, so when you in here, you just kind of let them know that. So if you steal it all, I got to close up, then you don't have nothing to steal. So, and then in 62, I got a little job to make extra money, kind of managing a bar in Joliet. And the owner there told me, says, you know, son, now when you hire your waitress, say don't hire experienced waitress. Say hire one that don't know nothing, and soon as she learn how to pour a drink and ring the cash register at the same time, say it's time to get rid of her. She done figure out how to cheat you.
That's great. Now,
but I got some good people here working now, and you must come sometime and watch the music. You know, I play every year, once a year, in the month of January with my band. But now the tickets are gone. But all you have to do call my and speak to my daughter Anna, or whoever set you up here. And the door's always open.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Well, now, you, back in February of this year, you played the White House. You got President Obama to sing a little bit of Sweet Home Chicago.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
You know, I knew better not to go up there and say something out of the way to the commander-in-chief.
Right.
But somebody came to me before that happened, before we went into the place, said, you know, he's from Chicago. Of course I know this because I used to live in Hyde Park. And they said, he might come up and do Sweet Home Chicago. So I'm sitting there not even thinking, nothing planned. And he came up and made the speech after we finished and went to walk down. And I had saw him, a week or two, a month ago at the Apollo Theater in New York. And he did a little voice of Al Green.
Yeah.
So just as he got ready to step off the stage, I said, wait a minute, Mr. President, you started something. You got to keep it up now. You got to give us a little Sweet Home Chicago. And he came over and got the mic and looked at BB and said, Sweet Home Chicago. I said, hey, and I didn't even know what I was doing. And the next day, BB came. But it made him do it. I said, I didn't make him do nothing, you know.
That's quite a journey for a kid who used to tear the wires out of the screen windows to try and make his own guitar to playing the White House and singing with the president.
And my mother had to put a bucket in the middle of the floor every time it rained to keep us from getting wet.
Man.
And to go from that to the White House is a dream.
I'm living proof that there's a way.
Hi, this is Buddy Guy, and you are watching Psycho Babble. Don't move that dial.